Hi there, my name is Mark and I'm the founder of Wormery. In this video, I'm going to take you through 5 of the most common mistakes that I've seen after helping dozens of people get started with their worm composting journey. Don't be alarmed, all of these 5 mistakes are very common and can be easily remedied with some simple solutions that I'll also share in this video. So let's get started. Okay, mistake number 1 is overfeeding. And guys, this is a really common one. I've seen this in so many cases, and I completely understand it. You are excited to have all those new worms, to have the new wormery, and you just want to feed them as much food as you possibly can and get the system moving. But the reality is that the biology needs a little bit of time to get up to speed. And if you add too much food straight away, that's when you might start getting some slight annoyances like fruit flies, you might get some bad smells, and all of that is just because there's a lot of food on the top of the wormery there. So in order to solve this, I would start slowly. Give the worms a little bit of time, feed them small amounts and gradually ramp up. And a really top tip here is to feed in the corners of the wormery. And that means that you'll be able to detect more easily and track whether the food that you've added is actually getting composted and processed by the wormery. And once it is getting composted, then you can start adding more and you can ramp up over time. Okay, mistake number 2, and that is unrealistic winter expectations. These composting worms, they really like temperatures best between about 15 degrees and 25 degrees Celsius. So during the winter, they compost 2 or 3 times more slowly than in the summer. So the simple fix for this is just expect to be adding a little less food and getting less compost in the winter months. So that's option 1. Or option 2, bring the wormery inside. And that's what I've done during the winter months. And it's amazing to see how much more quickly the worms will go when they're nice and warm inside. And you don't have to worry about any smells. The wormery is odor-free if it's managed well. Okay, mistake number 3, not knowing or forgetting about the worm tea. So again, this is a really common one. And this has surprised me, is that many first-time worm composters don't even know that in the bottom here, worm tea will start collecting. So as you add food waste that's naturally high in liquid content, that will actually drip through and start collecting and pooling at the bottom of the wormery. Check it every couple of weeks, and if there's liquid there, mix it 10-to-1 with water and use it in your garden or with your houseplants indoors. It's free fertilizer, don't forget about it. Okay, mistake number 4, not adding enough bedding to the wormery. So this is a common mistake I've seen with first-time worm composters. They don't realize that alongside food waste, you need to add bedding to your wormery. And when I say bedding, this can be coconut coir. You add water to it and it expands into a nice bedding. You can also use any paper or cardboard that you have, but you need to shred it up into small pieces first before using it. Now, bedding is really helpful for the wormery. It can help to deal with the effects of overfeeding, which was one of the problems mentioned earlier. But also in general, it can deal with moisture problems, pH problems, and so it's really important base feedstock to keep those worms alive and happy over the long term. You should aim to be adding 2-to-1 bedding to food waste and by volume overall. Okay, mistake number 5 is not knowing how or when to harvest the compost. So typically after 2 to 3 months, or maybe longer in winter, you'll start to be in a position where you're ready to harvest the compost. The tray should be 3/4 or more full. It should be a dark color. It should be crumbly. It should smell like soil. And also crucially, you shouldn't be able to see any really noticeable food scraps in that tray. If all of those things are true, you're ready to harvest your compost. So what you should do is you should add your second tray on top of the first tray. You should add new food, add new bedding, and wait 3 to 5 days. By that time, the vast majority of the worms should have graduated up into the new tray with all the new food, leaving you behind a lovely tray full of compost. Either use that as a mulch or combine it with regular compost as a potting mix and start using it in your garden. So there you have it, the 5 most common worm composting mistakes and how to fix them. If you do encounter these mistakes, don't be too worried. Worms are really resilient and forgiving creatures, and you can always get the show back on track with a bit of TLC. Let me know what you think. Are those the kinds of problems that you've been facing? Have you faced others? Let me know. But in the meantime, thanks for watching and happy composting.